You're listening to the Breadcrumb Mojito podcast, hosted by Connor Whale.
Go chase your dreams,
Yeah,
do all that shit.
Yeah, no, that's it.
I need to book you for a day so you can crash course me on how I'm going to edit all this
How
shit.
to edit this shit together.
And like, it's been a little bit of a struggle to figure out how to do it and just the time that it takes, to edit. Jeremy's was the hardest because I find like when I have conversations that are very, I talk, you talk, I talk, you talk. It's easy to edit. Whereas Jeremy and we're like talking over each other and we're laughing and having fun. And so it's like, and you got to like re-listen to something 10 times.
I only stopped that one because I had to get up from my desk. That's all I was joking about. But no, they're good. It's like, it's like, I only listen to the like hospital ones. I saw some of the other ones and they're like queued up. So. But
the one with Kieran Finity, the physicist, was quite a cool one.
Yeah, that was because that was the one that like. So that was how long ago did you film that one?
That would have been about a month or two ago.
Yeah, because it was around about then.
Just after Lewishams.
You and I had been speaking about it the last time I saw you, whenever it was, and then it kind of gone out of my mind. And then when I saw the shorts on like the little like reel or whatever you put on social media, I was like, okay, no, maybe I've misunderstood this podcast, and that's when I was like starting looking at it again, and then I listened to Johnny's one, and then you text me, and I was like, oh, that's funny.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
So I doubled down. I can't remember I listened to 3 this week basically.
Okay, cool.
I can't remember who the third one was.
Yeah.
Johnny, Jeremy, and
Loretta.
Laurie. I'd watched a bit of Laurie's one. Because I was scrolling through podcasts a while back, and I saw that like her podcast she did with Mikey and G, and then I remember like I was looking at that, and then I remembered that she'd done one with you, so I started listening to it because it was round about the Healthy Hospital thing that they did. They did like a big that I was meant to go to, but was that last year?
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure exactly what event you're talking about.
Because I was meant to do an event with them. But it was like a big thing that I was supposed to do, but then I ended up going to America, which was like a year ago.
Okay.
Next week, something like that. So,
okay.
Anyway,
like BarCon last year, they did a big thing at the Bedford.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was. I think that's what it was. Yeah, because I was away the week of BarCon was like I left it that weekend of the week. The next week was BarCon, so because I was meant to do a couple of things with Andrea. Interested, and when I saw there wasn't just a hospital one, I was like, oh wait a minute, like
and like to be fair, like it's hospo related because that's the industry I know and it's the people I know and it's where the name comes from. But at the end of the day, like I was explaining this to Elliot, who's coming on later today, it's less about hospo and more about the people in hospo.
Yeah, no, that I understand.
And to be fair, it's not like a hard out interview.
No, exactly.
It's very casual, and I just like talking to people that I think are interesting and have a good chat with and like. When I met Kieran, the physicist here.
Oh, okay.
So he is a regular here, and his wife works at the hot chocolate shop just across the road. Yeah. And so we came here before the Lewishams, and we just got chatting to each other. And Amanda was with me, and she asked what he does, and he was like, I'm a physics teacher. And I was like, no shit, that's super fucking interesting. And we like wandered from here down to Parasol on the Spring, and I spent like an hour and a half just chatting to him. Yeah. And I was just like, would you come and do a podcast? Here,
let's film this.
Hard out. And he was like, I'd love to do that. That's great. And like, to be fair, his podcast is one of the highest viewed at the moment. In terms of the shorts, they're out the gate. Oh, yeah. Like one of his first ones came up, got shared like 650 times. Wow. It got like 2,500 views in like the first 24 hours or something. Wow. It got like 150 likes. Like it did really, really well. Yeah. And it was just, I tell you what, I feel like a fucking idiot when I speak to people that are that smart. Like.
Well, the challenge I have there is I am an idiot. Anyway.
I was so out of my depth on some things. And I was thinking about this today, like when I'm so interested in talking to someone, my brain turns off and doesn't let me access any shit that I already know. It just lets me take in new information.
I know what you mean. Like it's difficult to contribute to lessons.
Yeah.
but you know a lot of the stuff, but you're like, it's, and this guy telling you stuff, and you're like, whoa, that's like, that relates to this other thing that I know. And then when somebody, like, when you have to switch to, like, you know,
talk
mode, it's like, oh no, wait a minute, I'm taking in. Yeah, no, I understand. I'm the same.
Every time I'm learning so much off someone, my brain just shuts down. And like, I remember even talking about something, we're talking about hydrogen bombs and things like this, and nuclear bombs. And I was like, oh, so like they're doing it with all these heavy materials like uranium, plutonium. Why don't we do one with something light, like hydrogen, like you're talking about? And Stone goes, pretty sure we have done a hydrogen bomb. And I'm like, oh yeah, we have done that. Like my brain just turns off.
Like, you're smart enough to realize that hydrogen could be used in that way, but you're also like, it's shut off. Like, yes, of course there's hydrogen. Like,
we did that. We fucked a whole bunch of people up.
We killed like a lot of people with it. Famously, it killed a lot of people
exactly. But I just my brain just turns off and I become an idiot, which I kind of. It's good in some ways because then it's, I'm never going to appear to be one of those like know-it-alls.
Yeah.
And like telling the experts what I fucking know.
Let me tell you.
Exactly. Like, shut up, bro. You didn't even graduate high school. What the fuck are you talking about, you retard? But we're good to go, bro.
Yeah, well.
Gav.
I thought we were,
we are into it. Sorry. No, you're good. Do you want a cocktail?
I would love a watermelon Negroni.
Watermelon Negrizzle.
Yeah, thank you.
Love it. Oh, so welcome. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
This is going to be a fun chat. You and I normally have some pretty fun chats whenever we catch up.
Normally.
Cheers.
Cheers. Your health.
Yes. Health, wealth, and happiness. Lovely.
Get that rubbish out of that, isn't it? Yeah,
it sure is.
It's great.
Yeah. So we've already started getting to chat, which is nice. But something I tend to always ask whenever people come on is sort of the origin story.
Yeah.
How'd you get into hospo and why'd you stay?
I went out for my friend's 17th birthday and I woke up with a job.
No shit.
Yeah. So we went in to get a lift home from my sister in a bar that she worked in Aberdeen, Scotland, where I'm from, called The College. Still there. It's been open for like 30 odd years, so it's a bit of an institution.
Yeah.
We went in there and I just hassled the GM for ages until he gave me a job collecting glasses. So I started the next day. And 25 years later, here we are, So I started collecting glasses. It was meant to be a job. I'd like finished school pretty much. It was like October. I'd got all the grades I needed to get into university. So basically just coasting. I was doing like 3 classes a week or something like that, extended art lessons and things like that.
Yeah.
So I just had to finish the year out. So my sister gave me a job to keep me out of trouble, collecting glasses. And I stayed there for 5 years. Ended up as a assistant manager there.
Nice.
Had a wee spell away opening a nightclub in Aberdeen, which was an experience, but also a bit of a disaster. It was in the wrong place. It was the wrong type of venue. It wanted to be like a London super club in Aberdeen. It was like a 450 pax venue. I think the biggest night we had was like 110.
Oh.
So it just a couple of Kiwi guys actually. That opened that, but they just had like sort of ideas above their station. They owned like this amazing sort of country pub, and they thought they just knew how to do it. And older guys, but they just had a lot of money and wanted to spraff it, when I moved over here to New Zealand in 2004, 2005 maybe. Started working in the Occidental Belgian Beer Cafe, which is not too far from us right here. Which was awesome. Learning about beer there for the first time was good. Up until that point, beer was just like tenants, and that was about it. There's nothing wrong with it. And then I started working there. I was there for a couple of years. Then moved next door to
really branched out.
Really branched away from Vulcan Lane. No, we had like a whole bunch of us left at the same time. We had a bit of an experience at the Oxy. One of our friends passed away actually with meningitis, and then the owners threatened us with legal action if we told anyone. So we were just like, well, we're just going to leave.
Did the meningitis come from the venue?
No. Absolutely. But he'd been at work, and then we sent him home, and he passed away through the night. So so yeah, it was wild. He was like 19. His name was Nick. It was rough, But the way that the company handled it was just like, poor. I won't name the name of the company, but I'm sure people, if they wanted to know, they could figure it out. They owned a lot of bars at that moment in time. So yeah, they moved next door to what is now Vulture's Lane craft beer bar, but back then it was O'Carroll's Irish bar. It was a bit of an institution in Auckland for a few years there. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Then I moved back to Scotland. Went back there. Went back to the college actually for another year, but it was just, once I realised I was going to stay in Scotland a bit longer than I intended to. I always intended on coming back.
Why'd you have to go back? Just visa?
Visa, and it just felt like a kind of the right time. A couple of my mates were getting married like a year apart. I was going to be in both of their weddings. I was best man for one of them and usher for the other. Don't think we really do ushers over here. Yeah. Groomsmen, I think they're called nowadays. And then I'd kind of had this idea that I would go for the first one. They were almost exactly a year apart. I'd go for the first one, hang out for the year, and then immediately after the second one, I'd just come back. But they changed the visa situation, so I ended up not being eligible. So I got stuck for a little while. What did I do after that? Yeah, then I was GM of a student rock club.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been quite fun.
Yeah. Oh man, I always joke that I'm going to write a book one day about that place. Like some of the stuff in there, I could tell you, just like you just wouldn't believe it. Like it sounds like we made it up, and it's it's called Kurova. After I don't know if you've read A Clockwork Orange. No. The Kurova Milk Bar is the name of the bar in there where they drink Quaalude milk shakes and stuff, and then go out and kill people. But there was none of that.
It's like a ripper of a time.
yeah, that's it. But yeah, that place was insane, man. Just like we.
Is it all true story, that book? No.
And it's a
made up
sort of dystopian fantasy book. Yeah, it's quite a favorite. It's quite the film was like quite a big thing. Stanley Kubrick made it. It's quite violent and there's some.
Is it called? What did you say? Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange. Yeah, Clockwork Orange.
I'm going to have to Google that.
It
sounds like it's
a pretty famous book and a pretty famous movie. The movie's dreadful. The book's amazing. Probably one of my top two books. But yeah, it's all about is it better to choose to be good or to be forced to be good? So there's a little bit of a sort of caterpillar into a butterfly kind of story. It goes on in amongst all this crazy violence and drug taking. It's great. It's anyway, but so kind of sets a scene for opening a bar called Kurova. It was mad, man. I was there for probably 5 years. I would come back to New Zealand for 4 or 5 months at a time and then go back and just slot straight back in. Just wild stuff, bro. I was at a wedding once and my mate was a fireman and he was dating a police dispatch agent. I don't know what they're called. Yeah. The person you speak to when you call 999 or 111 here. But she was police specific, and they'd walked into the conversation when we were talking about Kurova, and she didn't quite get the vibe, and she was like, "Oh, we've been surveilling that place for 3 months," and everyone was just like, "Oh," and I was just like, "What?" And my mate Uncle Martin's his name. He was just like, it's his nickname, should I say? He was just like, "Oh no," he was like, "Yeah, Gav's the manager of Kurova." It turned out we had a Liverpool drug gang that were using it during the day as because we were open from 11 o'clock in the morning, all day, every day, and they weren't doing any, they weren't dealing on site allegedly.
They were just having meetings.
Yeah, definitely. But I think it was like more like they were setting stuff up, and and yeah. Anyway, so they've been. It was pretty much straight on the phone, like Eric, owner, like we've got a problem. There's a travel lodge across the road, and they were like monitoring us. It was wild.
Fucking hell. That's some real like
underbelly
real, like,
shit. Underbelly stuff, yeah. But then also just from that, like really serious stuff to just ridiculous stuff. Like, so it's 3 floors. The building's like, what, nearly 300 years old, something like that. Wow. So yeah, it's been there. It's a bridge, and then the building is next to the bridge, 3 floors, and the bottom floor is under the bridge, so it's in the like bridge arches. And we're down there, and there was like this really weird smell. It wasn't like overpoweringly bad, but then it was getting worse, and it's like it smells like a grease trap, like like you worked in kitchens, it's a very distinctive smell. Like, oh man, one of the restaurants, maybe the grease trap's leaking or something like that. So we called environmental health, and he came in and he was like, oh, funny thing is, I've been in this building before when it was the bar previous. I know exactly what this is. Come and I'll show you. And he takes us downstairs, and in one of the arches we built this, like we called it the shed. It's like our storeroom. He's like, can the roof come off of this? It's like, oh, there's a hatch. So gets a hatch, climb up. He shines a torch right on it. It's like, it's there. Hits it clean. We can see it flowing down. We're like, oh, is it a grease trap? And he's like, no, it's a toilet. So we pulled the floor up, and the stuff was like flowing through the venue, and we were in it, scooping it out, thinking it was a grease trap. No,
bro!
Shit from one of the toilet next door was like the bar next door, again 300 years old. It was like the last bar in Scotland to get a women's toilet, and
nowadays they got to demolish it because we're all fucking women.
It's all exactly. But no, they and so their toilet was overflowing into our club, and we were just like basically just like rolling about in it, trying to clear it out so that we could get the club open. Just like, what are we doing here? But yeah, it was pretty wild. I mean, and there's hundreds of stories in that place. We had this phrase, all of us would just be, whenever somebody would be like, oh, Gav, the doorman just knocked someone out right in front of the camera, it'd just be like, classic Crova. Yeah. all of us would say, oh, just classic Crova. But it was awesome, man. I worked with like some amazing people there, like people who are like lifelong friends and all that sort of stuff. We still talk quite a lot. And then where did I go from there? So it pretty much drove me to a bit of a sort of nervous breakdown.
I can only imagine.
Like there was a lot of stuff going on.
Cleaning up human shit, surveilled by the police.
Yeah.
Drug gangs going on.
And that was just the funny stuff. Like, the stuff that maybe wouldn't make the cut of the book because it's too dark. Basically just my time there came to an end. I was still struggling to get a visa. By this point, my parents had moved to New Zealand, but again, the way that things were, my age and stuff were kind of going against me. So I had to wait for my parents to get residency before I could apply for a visa. I mean, that's another long story, but we don't need to get into that. So yeah, it basically took me 7 years to get a visa for to come back to New Zealand. So yeah, I was actually waiting for a job at Brewdog. My couple of my mates who worked at Crova had gone on to work for them. Mm-hmm. I mean, bullet dodged, I guess. But so I was kind of like hanging around, didn't really have anything lined up. I was doing, helping out mates here, there, and one of my assistant managers at Crova had gone on to work at a cocktail bar called Dusk, and he was like, we need somebody 3 days a week, just come and help us. I was like, cocktails? Like, come on. So went, interviewed. My interview was 3 shots of tequila, so I was like, okay, this might be the place, like, this might be the one for me. The owner and manager there at the time, the guy, he's a bit of a local sort of celebrity in Aberdeen. Chris Lovey is his name. Him and I just got along like a house on fire. So started working there. He was like, just 3 days a week. He's like, well, we might need you just to use your. It's called a personal license over there. I think.
Is that like a
duty manager? Just like we might need to use your license every now and then. I was like, yeah, whatever, bro. Yeah, about 3 weeks in, I was like, fuck beer. This is what I want to do. So I really got into it, and that's where like sort of everything changed. Like it stopped. my career up until that point was always just sort of like, just waiting to come back to New Zealand, but it was the first time in the hospitality industry where I was like, no, okay, I've got it now. Like I know what, like, maybe don't know what I want, where I want it to end, but I know like that I'm on the path now within the industry. Everything up until this point was just kind of like treading water.
Yes.
But I get it now.
Brace yourselves. It's sponsorship time. I know ads can feel like the Broccoli podcast, but today we're talking about the Bar Society, a company I own and operate. So think of it as supporting my broccoli farm. This goes out to all cocktail lovers and hospitality pros. Are you ready to elevate your drinking experience? Introducing the Bar Society, New Zealand's leading clear ice supplier. Whether you're stirring down a classic old-fashioned or crafting the perfect gin and tonic, there's no substitute for crystal clear ice. Not only does our ice look stunning, but it also melts slower, keeping your drinks colder and your flavors perfectly balanced. From home bartenders to high-end establishments, the Bar Society's here to bring your beverages to the next level. Order today and see why we're trusted by the best bars and restaurants in New Zealand. Visit thebarsociety.co.nz and let us transform your drinks. The Bar Society. Elevate your drinking experience.
So from that point, I worked there for a few years as well. I ended up as one of the managers there, and that was great. Loved it. Then came back to New Zealand, which was meant to be like one last time, but I ended up going back. And I worked in a bar called 99, which you might have heard of 99 Hanover Street in Edinburgh. Yeah, so the guys that owned that opened a bar in Aberdeen, and then they sold it to a guy actually who I gave him his first ever job. Well, I was part of a team that gave him his first ever job when he was 17, and I ended up working for him. They bought it, and they owned a bar in Aberdeen called Orchid, which is like was quite a successful place that just closed down recently. Scottish Cocktail Bar of the Year, British Cocktail Bar of the Year, GQ Cocktail Bar of the Year for like it's an amazing place. Like so many like unbelievable bartenders have come out of it. Famous bartenders now. Dan Nevsky, the indie bartender, if you know him on social media. Alex Lawrence, who was he was Dandelion. Now he's in Mexico City with his own place. Just heaps cool guys came out of there and
Top of the
girls.
food chain.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to work there because it was just all my mates were working there at that point. So, but I had to sort of serve my my penance at 99 for a little while, which was great. I loved it there as well. It was kind of like changing over from one owner to the other. So there was a few sticky moments, having to change a few things, like things that they'd gotten away with before that. I think Ben just wanted me to go in there and be the bad guy, I think. But so I did that for a little bit, and then they got there once my visa was sorted and stuff, and or it was becoming a bit more clear that I was going to be leaving relatively soon, and they finally gave me a chance at Orchid, so I was there for a year maybe, through the refurb and all that. It was great, loved it, and then I came back to New Zealand. I've had a long career, man. 25 years. We're going
you've been back and forth so many times.
Yeah. It was wild, man. If I had air miles, man. But again, every time I went back, it was like, this is the last time.
Yeah.
But then the visa situation would change. Things would change in Aberdeen, and I'd be like, maybe I'll stay just a little bit longer. I had nothing really calling me back, other than my family lived here. But I was enjoying being the only one. Like my parents lived here, my two sisters lived here, and I enjoyed kind of being like completely on my own for a little while until I didn't. But then when I met my wife, actually, I met her here, but I was still bouncing back and forth, and the first time I went back, we were like, we'll just see how it goes, and the second time I went back, I was like, no, this is happening, so I need to actually do something about it. So that's when I got my visa sorted and finally came back. So I came back, landed at Revelry for 3 years, something like that. Must have been 3 years. I don't think we need to tell anyone about Revelry.
Very well known
local institution, and amazing. Like it was, we joke about it quite a lot, and how much again chaos it was, but it was awesome. Those guys know what they're doing, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
They took that space. I mean, I remember that space from when I lived here, 2004 or 2005. It felt like every 3 months it was a different venue, and then once they got hold of it, you know, they turned it into what it is, and it's changed in the last 5 years as well, which is a good thing. You know? Still going strong.
Yeah, it's still incredibly strong. Like, still a popular spot. Yeah.
Fridays and Saturdays are just still insane.
Fuck yeah. Just pumping shit out the door. And they're is it 21 plus there as well? Like, so they don't, you know, it's always good because I think Long Room's the same.
Yeah, that's
you know, they're so credible, they're so well known, they're so popular that you're even in a position to be able to turn away all the younger clientele that normally everyone's vying for because they want to make it that little hangout spot. But no, places like that are doing amazing.
It's amazing, and like fair play to Darren who runs it now, and Ben. Ben floated that idea to us. It's I mean, I worked there with like Maddie Tate, Johnny Cresswell, and they floated the idea to us, and we convinced them not to do it. Like, we were like, "This is a terrible idea. You know, there's no way this is going to work." Like Freeman and Grey was across the road. It was like they're going to be chock-a-block, and we're going to be empty. You know, so you know we bottled it basically and didn't want to do it, but it worked, you know. So you know that's a good lesson as well.
Some humble pride there.
Just when you think you know everything, like there is people that know more about it.
So, ain't that the truth?
And then when Ben and Jason bought Mea Culpa, which you know then went on to be Clipper, I went down there with Jeremy. That's where I worked with Jeremy, past guest, and Darren Mines. Which was good, but again, it just kind of came at the wrong point for me. You know, me and my wife were living together, which we hadn't been doing for a long time, you know, because I'd been in the UK and, you know, a venue that's only open at night just wasn't quite working out. So I went back to Revelry for a little while. Then I opened Beast and Butterflies, Social, down the Viaduct, which was an experience. Swore I would never work in another hotel.
Look at where we are now.
Yeah, look where we are now. And then from that point, I moved into sales. I worked for Proofing Company and then Cadrona Distillery. Loved that too. Then I had a kid, as you know.
Life changes dramatically then.
Yeah, life changes dramatically. And just being on the road was just a bit much. You know, now that he's a bit older, you know, maybe I would have been more open to it now than I was back then, but was looking for something else. I went back and helped Ben out, open a bar for a little while, Hideaway, just for a short 8 months, 9 months, something like that. And then Pullman, Auckland Airport, where I am now, as a purchasing manager. So kind of in the same vein as my sales role, but
it's quite
but
a good
the other
role.
side of the table. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's a good role to be in for someone that has experience on the sales end, because you can understand it from a mindset of what the reps are trying to achieve and what the companies are trying to achieve, but you've also got what is the hotel trying to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a little bit more empathy there because there's an understanding of both sides.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Yeah, and that's exactly it. And that's, you know, it was kind of I'd stopped at Cadrona where we're opening Hideaway, and from the moment I started with Hideaway, like I always knew that it wasn't permanent. You know, it was. I was always kind of thinking and wasn't really too sure. And again, full circle career, 25 years later, I'm back working for my sister. So she was just like, oh, we're opening the hotel. Like, we need somebody to do this role, purchasing manager. But before the hotel opens, it's going to be like, I don't know, like a project manager almost, you know? So it's like, do you want to do that? And it was a maternity cover. So it was only 9-10 months, something like that. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Bit of experience, but it's exactly what you say, you know, like, I think people, and you can attest to this, I think, like, enjoy or prefer the sales meetings where all the information that you need is given to you, and all the questions that need to be asked of you are asked so that you can give the information back. And I think, you know, being in my position, I just go in and I'm like, let's have a chat about business, but here's all the information you need. But I need to know, can you do this, and this? And they're like, yeah, sweet, bang, done. And it's good. Like, I think I like to think people enjoy, their negotiations with me, and I'll be honest with them and transparent. Like, that's not going to happen. This will, if you try and do this, they're going to say no to that. So just try and keep it, like, have the meeting that I wish I could have had when I was a sales rep. Like, you go through some. I mean, again, you go through some hideously dry ones, and
there's some awkward moments,
and you're just like, man, okay, do I just leave? Do I just give up? Or like, no, I'm going to get this, So it's good. And I think working for a big company like Accor as well, I worked for MCK at M Social, but Accor is a different kind of beast, So getting to see that from the inside is pretty cool. And like, I think, we've got a lot of people in, yourselves included, we've got a lot of people into Pullman that other Accor premises probably wouldn't have, because I was like, okay, I understand what I need to give Accor, and I know how to get that from the sales rep, so that I can help the sales more than anything else. So that's it's good, it's fun. I mean, it's a job, it is a little bit of just a clock in on a Monday and a clock out on a Friday, and that's kind of it. But still, have a little bit of involvement in the bar and in the in the F&B side of things.
It's good to still be able to spending, like, say, 25 years in the industry. You pick up all of this information and knowledge, and really, like, when I think about shit I've learnt, I've forgotten 90% of it. But there's that core 10% that is crucial and important and takes years to learn. And so being put in a position where it is, a little bit more of a day walker, purchasing manager, operations and things like this, and the expertise really comes to help then. And it's not as much manual labor like you are in the bar, shaking cocktails till 3 a.m. and then cleaning shit out of the sewer until 6 a.m.
Exactly.
Like,
cleaning up sick in the toilets.
Exactly. Danny cleaning up sick when we came.
No, absolutely. And look, I mean, everything I do professionally, but even when I was a sales rep, and one of the reasons why I was so keen to join what was Neat Spirits, which became Proofing Company, was because it's a bartender company. Like they ran the entire operation like a bar, So first and foremost, you look after your staff, and then you worry about the quality of the product that you're selling, and then and it was the same sort of thing. But what I think in this role is it's a relationships management. Like, I cross over all the departments. I'm learning stuff, even the M Social, that I didn't learn, about hotels. They ask me questions about things, and I'm like, using acronyms, and I just do not know what that is, but and it's great, but it boils down to, like, use your emotional intelligence to manage people, right? I think I don't think there's an industry in the world, or I don't know, maybe psychology that preps you to be emotionally intelligent as working in the bar. You've got, like, the whole range of human emotions, right? Everyone's life happens in a bar. So it's definitely, it's good. Like, it is good. I think, if you put what I do day to day next to a purchasing manager in any other industry, probably quite different. But then that comes from bars. Like, just everyone gets stuck in. If you can help, you do help. So but I think mainly I'd like to say I'm a facilitator, but I think it's a relationships manager, right? So making sure that the right sales reps are meeting the right people, making sure that they're communicating in such a way that gets the benefit for everyone and stuff. Yeah, so it's good. And I don't really do too much of the hard negotiating, which is good because it's not what it's about. It's not hard. It's not like too hard, but it's just like something that the price, because it's the price. So okay, if of course we'll talk if we can tighten those margins a little bit, that'd be amazing. But like, it's about how do we get the value out of that product? Like, so you bring in a bottle of wine, or you bring in a pillow or whatever to a hotel. It's not necessarily about the cost of the pillow. It's about how do we get the value of that money that we're spending. So it's it's interesting, and like I say, I'm learning lots about the hotel industry that you just assume that because I worked in a hotel for a while, but it's like, well, no, actually I don't. I get a lot more involved in rooms and stuff, which is interesting. Not enough to make me want to work in another hotel thing. But I've said that before. But yeah, no, definitely. Like, I don't think I could go like frontline in a hotel. I don't think I could go customer facing. There is an element of working in bars where, the customer is always right, which I think is a falsehood. But there's an element that you've just got to sort of take. You just accept. Okay, yes, this person has got an idea in their head that whatever that may be. But I think in hotels, the line where you can just go, this is over, is just like a bit further down the track than it is in bars, especially small independent bars where like, the buck stops with you kind of thing. Yeah. Whereas, at the hotel, if you tell someone to go fuck themselves, then, it's over pretty much, not that I would ever do that in a bar. But it is interesting. But like I say, it's maybe not where I thought I was going to end up, but that's not a bad thing either. It allows me to have weekends where I get to hang out with my mates and do podcasts and get to hang out with my wife and my son a lot more. When I was with Cadrona, I was away. I can't even remember where I was. I was like down in Hamilton or something, helping out at an event. And my wife sent me a photo of her and my son on the trams at Motat. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a key moment in his life or anything like that, but it was just like, it was like a Sunday, and I was just
feel like you missed out.
I was like, I shouldn't be here. I should be there, like. So these moments aren't like, you miss the big moments because you're not around like the first steps and the first words, because it's random, right? You never know when they're going to happen, but like it's just the little moments that you miss. So I was just kind of like, that was one of the reasons why I started looking away from sales, and this job allows me to do it. Yeah. And that's why, after, let's say, well, my son's 4, me and my wife have been together for coming up for 10 years now, but like, let's say even, the last 9 years, within the last 9 years, my life wasn't balanced, it was all about Proof and Company, it was all about Cadrona, it was all about Beast and Butterflies, M Social, it was all about Revelry, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm able to go, you know what, I'm still in the industry, I'm still learning things, but on a Saturday, I don't have to worry. I put my phone down on a Friday night and don't pick it up again until Monday morning. It's great,
Here we go again. It's ad time. But don't hit that skip button just yet. Today's sponsor is First Class Cocktails, another company that I own and operate. So technically it's less of an ad and more of me shamelessly promoting myself. You know what's better than a great cocktail? A great cocktail with no effort. Meet First Class Cocktails, New Zealand's premier provider of premium bottled, ready-to-drink cocktails. We're talking about perfectly balanced flavors, made with the finest ingredients, and all you have to do is pour, sip, and enjoy. From timeless classics like the martini and the old-fashioned, to bold new creations like our pineapple and chili margarita, First Class Cocktails ensures every drink feels like a first-class experience. Whether it's a night in or a party out with friends, we've got your cocktail game covered. Order now at firstclasscocktails.com and raise your glass to effortless luxury. First Class Cocktails, because every moment deserves to feel first class. That's something that me personally, I'm still working on. Like, the Bar Society, First Class Cocktails, the podcast. Yeah. I've got these projects going that, being at the top, you constantly have to juggle it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I try to, on weekends, Saturday, Sundays, turn my phone off. Yeah. Or just not fucking look at my emails or something like that. But like, you can't help it sometimes. You get, it's 5 o'clock and, my partner will be cooking dinner or something like that. I'll just start. I'll quickly reply to this email.
Yeah. Oh, I better just text this guy. Oh, I forgot to text this other guy.
Fuck that invoice. I didn't put it in. I'll quickly do that.
I think, I don't know, but, and you can attest to this more than I can, but like, I think I feel like it's different when you're the beneficiary of it, and working Proof and both. I was lucky with the 2 companies that I worked for as a sales rep, and I, especially with Proof, they had I was in a pretty strong field that I got chosen out of, and so I was very lucky, and I think I was lucky that in the main that the companies were interested in the people. It wasn't just like you weren't just a number or anything like that. Especially with Cadrona, man, I've never I was shocked at how they looked after the and I mean almost I don't mean financially. I mean looking after them, making sure they're okay. Are you eating? Are you getting enough time off? All that sort of stuff, So it's great, So it could be worse. So you felt like a little bit of ownership. I think once you're the owner, and once it's it's your not just financial, but when it's your reputation, when it's your the way that people see you and all that sort of stuff, I think maybe a bit different. But that doesn't mean that you should be working 75, 80, 90, 100 hours a week. That's not. It's not. That doesn't help anyone. So.
No, and I'm such a workaholic. I remember, our son turned 1 2-3 weeks ago.
Wow, already.
Yeah, already.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I had a weekend.
Yeah.
Where I hadn't done anything, because Amanda was like, "You're not allowed to do anything this weekend. I've got the whole thing booked out on Friday night or Saturday morning, whatever's most convenient, because Fridays I'm obviously on deliveries. I'm up in Auckland." And so she was like, "But the whole weekend, I have got you locked in." I was like, "All right, sweet." And it was the first weekend I had not done anything work related, and it was quite fun. We're hanging out with the family and eating shitty food and having a couple of drinks, and it was great fun.
Great, but then the emails are still there, though.
Exactly. And the Monday just becomes busier.
Yeah, and that's it. But it's also, again, it's rebalancing, right? Mm-hmm. We've had quite a traumatic year and a half, and there's been a lot of realigning things in my head, and that thing, just because I hear my phone buzz doesn't mean I have to go and look at it. Whereas with Proof and Cadrona, I always felt like, oh shit, what if that's something that, what if I've made a mistake and now now Pineapple don't have plantation for this weekend, but so now that I'm maybe that one step back from that part of it in the industry, it's that email is somebody asking me if we can have a meeting. They don't need to know right now if I can have that meeting, so just leave it, and having my son is, that helps. And again, it as well, just you're able to just sort of disconnect a bit more. And I think I was probably guilty at the beginning, Aidan born just at the end, toward the end of the lockdowns and pandemics and stuff. I think Auckland was still in lockdown. Auckland was still in lockdown for months after everyone else, but so at the beginning, because I was working from home so much, it was too easy just to pick up my phone or pick up my laptop, and I think you get into the bad habits of scroll through the emails. You check your ordering system, you check your Xeno account, you check this, you check that, you check this, you check that, and but yeah, since this last year, it's been a lot easier just to go actually I know what's important now. Yeah. Those moments when you're sitting with a baby trying to get him to sleep and you're scrolling your phone, they're gone now as well. Yeah, they're gone now as well. It's now you're chasing after them and
exactly.
Trying to avoid getting a lightsaber in the eye or whatever. But yeah, so it's definitely been easier. Just for me, it just wasn't healthy. When I worked in bars, would booze quite a lot, all that sort of stuff, and even in the sales, and even especially during COVID, when having a boot full of rum whiskey and gin is not ideal, but just everything was just stress. You get an email on a Saturday. Very rarely something good, isn't it? So or you get a phone call at 6:00 on a Friday night. It's fuck, here we go. Man. Pineapple's a good example of that actually in Parnell. The amount of times for some reason went through a period where they were just in a black spot in my mind. They sent me an order, I'd forget it. I'd go and pick my wife up from work, and then be like, I've got to go back to the warehouse. And she'd be like, pineapple. I'm like, yeah. So you're going out west, like against the traffic. It's just like, just take me like an hour and a half to go and do this order on a Friday night. It's just nightmare. But yeah, I think getting older as well helps, doesn't it? Like you start to realize that it's all nonsense, you know. So
I think as we get older as well, and like, you know, I'd be curious to know what you think, like, because I think having a child has helped me be more organized, because I've kind of been conscious, like I do want to be present in his life, but I still know that, I mean, you know, Amanda's only just started her first job since we've even been together outside of First Class of the Bar Society. And so for essentially the last 4 years, her job has either been with me in the businesses or on maternity leave and looking after the little one. And so I guess had a little bit of room to... her brain could handle half of the organization and my brain could handle the other half. She was admin and I was logistics, and now I've got to cram them both together because I'm doing them all alone. But being conscious of wanting to spend time with the kids has made me plan and structure my days more. So like every Monday I know exactly what I'm doing on a Monday. Every Tuesday and Friday I know those are the delivery days. Wednesday, Thursday I know that there is a chance, there was a period of time before Xander was in daycare that I took Wednesdays off. And I had the whole day with him, and it was just daddy-son time. A great fucking time. I could do housework, I could cook dinner, give Amanda a bit of a break from that. Thursday I could have meetings and shit like this. And so it's helped me structure my life to keep within some brackets to be able to be present.
Well, I'm very conscious that my wife may watch this. so I need to be quite honest here. No, like... I think historically, I'm pretty well known for not being the most organized person in the world. I think, and that you know, I think some of the people that I've worked with could probably attest to that as well. But no, I think you're right. I think it forces you to think about it more. You know, like whereas a lot of my wife is one of the most organized people you'll ever meet. Like it boggles my mind sometimes. Like you should have seen her. Like our wedding was like. Military precision. It was so good. But it was amazing though. It was great. Like, and it wasn't like a bridezilla kind of thing. It was just like the way she is. You know, she works in
Here's the run sheet.
Yeah, she's director of revenue for Sky City. So she's like a spreadsheet person. You know, whereas I'm more like vibes kind of guy. Well, just wing it on the day. No, we won't just wing it on the day, Gav. And we we probably we butt heads quite a lot about it. Like. She'll tell you more than I will probably, but no, I think I'm still I'm infinitely more organized now than I used to be. I was always good. Like I don't know, maybe it was just showed where my priorities were, where my mind was at. But I was always good, like in work, super organized, like journey plans and all that sort of stuff when I was in sales and bars, like everything you're. Costings, everything was just like prepped, everything, everything was just like nice and tight, but in my like personal life, it's just a bit chaotic to be honest. But I think what it did for me was like, it made me realize that like, actually like the work stuff is fine. Like just leave it, you don't need to like stress out about that. Just, you don't even need to think about it. Carving out time was I always found difficult, especially in this sort of sales game, and coming out of COVID in particular with Cadrona, when like Auckland was in like a real big, decline, as everyone knows, So I must admit, I did find it difficult, like, like, shit, I'm not performing here, so I need to like really focus on work. But then I've got this like 1-year-old at home, and like I need to focus on that, and my wife, and she's going back to work now, and it was all sort of chaotic. My mum and dad are both their health and stuff, so
life still happens.
Yeah, life still happens, but like I think as Aiden's got older and I've got like better at being a dad, I think definitely, I think more so than actually structuring things more, it's just like the way that I found it easier to structure things is like in this period of time I'm not doing any of that. So like it either have to get it done before then or I have to get it done after then, when I go back to work the next day or whatever. So yeah, definitely. But I think, having a kid changed everything, man. Like, and from wanting this to be, the industry to like be everything to actually going, you know what, maybe I don't need to spend, 18 hours a day in one place, So, but no, I think, my organization or becoming more organized outside of work, probably still needs a little bit of work, but at work, I've always kind of found it quite easy, which. And my wife gets frustrated because she sees like my work files and she's like, "Why is your life not like this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, pretty, I don't know." Just,
on the we mentioned empathy and emotional intelligence. Do you think that having a young child has played a part in that?
Absolutely. Because they don't know how to.
Yeah, they don't know how to do it, so you kind of need to be there to regulate.
I'd probably like to think it's improved my skills or my emotional intelligence, but I'd like to think that would probably one of my strengths, from as a manager. Like I've been a manager since I was 18, 19, something like that. So you feel like not weird brag, but but like I've been dealing with people older than me, more experienced than me. Right the way up to people who are significantly younger than me, frighteningly younger than me, but having a kid just like it, they're like little drunk people, right? So they can't tell you what they're feeling. They scream at you a lot and they shit themselves. But no, I think I agree with you. I think it's improved my patience. Again, my wife probably argue that, but but like you stand getting screamed at by a drunk person, you're just like whatever. But when that's like a couple of steps closer to you, it's like, okay, what's going on here? I'm stressing out. But with Aiden, like he's always, we complain about him a lot, but he's actually always been a pretty good kid, and but he definitely like. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question here, but he definitely keeps you like. I struggle with the word humble, especially coming from the bar world. Everyone uses the word humble and don't actually know what the word humble means. But like, it definitely keeps you like on a level, maybe like where you've got to just be like, what's coming out of his mouth isn't necessarily what is going on in his brain. So like you use that emotional intelligence to try and figure out like, okay, what's the environment like? What's the what's the external factors? What day is it? Okay, it's Wednesday, so he's had his dancing lady at school, so he was all hyped up. He's probably tired, like all that sort of stuff, And it's definitely given me some more skills that maybe I didn't have before. Like. When it comes to patience, I think I'm a relatively patient human being, but like it's a different kind of patience because you feel the frustration building up, and I get frustrated with them a lot, to the point where sometimes I feel bad about it, how like worked up I get. But as I'm learning how to be a father as well, and how he's learning to function, it's getting a lot better. But I think it definitely given me a little bit more control over my emotions, not about his emotions, Again, whether my wife agrees with that, we'll wait and see. But no, it's definitely. It's one of those things, right? People say like, oh, people who don't have kids, they just don't know. And part of me is just like, relax, like, like,
all right, ivory tower.
Yeah, exactly. But on the flip side, like you don't, and it is completely different, and it's the same. Like we had a miscarriage before we had Aiden, and like I've had friends who've had it before, and like whereas I was empathetic towards them or sympathetic towards them, sorry, I wasn't empathetic because I didn't know, And then when it happened to us, we were like, it was the worst thing that ever happened. It was like, holy shit, to the point where I like called up my friend and was like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. And he was like, well, don't know what you're talking about, you were amazing, and I was like, but it's the same when you have a kid. It's like straight away, like, I mean, the first thing I did when he was born was cry. Like, I don't know about you, I just started crying immediately, and like, and really struggled to stop. But and I've been crying ever since. No,
adorable.
Yeah, not in a good way, no. But like, it's weird, and you know, you can get all the cliches like, oh, you see this little thing, and it wasn't anything like that. It was just like, all of a sudden, all your selfishness, all your like, everything you think about yourself is just like, none of this matters anymore, doesn't it? Like, apart from the bit where you're like, oh fuck, how am I going to deal with this? Like, I can't afford this, I can't do any of this. But yeah, I think having him and growing as a person and all that sort of stuff, and it's not like my personality hasn't changed dramatically since I've had him, but like, just little things like, you know, in the morning he has a bad night, like at the moment he's got a cough, so he's had a late night. I wake up in the morning, I know that if I'm not on the motorway by 8:05, I'm going to be late. Mm-hmm. Before he was born, I would have been like, fuck, I'm going to be late. Now I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Like, he's got to be okay first, like, and, you know, make sure he's okay, and then I'll go and talk to my boss, who has 2 kids, and you know, inevitably I go in and be like, sorry, I'm late. I'll just stay for half an hour longer. Yeah, cool, no problem. Like, you know, it's taught me to like let go of a lot more than I would ever have done before, you know, and that's a good thing. Kind of almost wish that I had a kid when I worked in bars, because it would have been interesting to see how different I would have been. Hideaway, I wouldn't really use that as an example, because my role there was basically just getting the place open, and then at 6 o'clock. But to be fair, again, Johnny and Maddie would joke to you about Revelry. Whenever I was in Revelry after dark, I must have been drinking, because I definitely wasn't working. So, you know, hit 6 o'clock and I'm just like, see ya. I'm out. It's a young man's game, isn't it? So, but no, it'd be interesting to see, like, you know, how I am now would be behind the bar, you know. But
yeah, for sure. I think
I'm also happy to not.
Yeah. All right, team. It's that time again, sponsor advertisement time. Look, I know ads can feel like one song on repeat, but today's sponsors are the Bar Society and First Class Cocktails. If you've listened this far through the podcast, you already know that they're 2 companies that I personally own and operate. So hey, if you're rolling your eyes, at least roll them over to our websites and get ready to take your cocktail experience to the next level. Imagine this: First Class Cocktails premium bottled drinks, paired with the Bar Society's crystal clear ice. It's a match made in cocktail heaven. Whether you're hosting a dinner party, impressing guests at a wedding, or just treating yourself to a well-deserved drink, these 2 brands will bring you everything you need for a flawless pour. First Class Cocktails delivers unbeatable flavor, while the Bar Society adds the perfect touch of elegance with slow-melting, pristine ice. Why settle for ordinary when you can create extraordinary? Head to firstclasscocktails.com and thebarsociety.co.nz to order today. Together, we'll elevate every sip. First Class Cocktails and the Bar Society. The perfect pairing for your perfect pour. I always think it's changed. It's made me see grown-ups differently. Like, I guess, you know, first child, you are just in a learning state of mind. You got to like, fuck, I've got to learn how to do the nappies. I've got to learn how to do the swaddling. I've got to try and learn the differentiation between what the fuck is he crying about. All of these different things.
Is it food? Is it hot? Is he too hot? Is he hungry? Is he tired? Is he
exactly like does he need a bottle?
What the fuck is croup?
Like, there's so many things to think about that you're in a mind state where you're learning, so you're willing to take all of that on. And then when I would interact with adults outside of it, that like previously I would have thought, what the fuck is this person talking about? Like they're moody. Whereas now I'm more like, okay, let's cycle through my brain and try and think about all of the things that they're experiencing or been through in their day, and, you know, steer the conversation in a direction that's more positive.
That's a good call, actually. Yeah, and that might have been where you're going with that question, but I didn't quite think of it like that. But no, you're right. Like, definitely, when, you know, have issues with like staff members at the hotel, where before I would have probably been like, oh, this guy's fucking useless, or you know, where now I'm like,
that would have been the first thing my brain jumped to.
Well, but now it's like, well, wait a minute, like what's causing that? Like, yeah, you're right. Actually, I've never dwelt. Is that the word? Dwelt on that before, but that's good. That's a good call. Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting. But even like, I don't know about you, but even just in day-to-day life, like in the supermarket and stuff, you know, if somebody's like, you know, pushes it in front of you or whatever, just like now I'm probably just like, oh, you know, maybe they're having a bad day. Like I don't know what's going on.
Someone cuts you off in traffic. Well, he's clearly in a hurry.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what the fuck am I going to whinge about?
And you know, Aiden's had his health issues recently, like nothing major, but you know, we've been whipping to the hospital, and I've probably cut people off that I didn't even notice, you know. And so now I'm like, well, yeah, maybe there's something wrong. Like maybe, you know, maybe that person just got a phone call about a loved one and he's hurrying to get there. You know, I won't say that every single time I'm not like, fuck you.
Sometimes you're having a bad day.
When I'm having a bad day, but no, I think I'm a lot more. I think I let go of a lot of stuff a lot more than I probably used to. You know, I probably think about things that happened 15 years ago that I'm darker on than things that happened last week. You know, like but now I'm like, well, just whatever. You know, but it's definitely interesting, and you know, it's one of those things. You can go and learn all these things, and you can practice on dummies, and you can practice on toys. But like when you have a kid, man, it's like it's. And you watch other people, and the worst thing that happens is you start judging yourself against other people. And you watch people who just
comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, exactly, man. And like, you know, watch some of my mates, and I'm like, fuck, they're better than this than me. But then probably they're looking at me going, fuck, he's better than this than me. You know, because everyone struggles with different bits. Like, but even funny you say changing nappies and stuff. Me and my wife were talking about it the other day. It's like, we used to change his nappy in the dark. Like, he would shit everywhere, and we just wouldn't turn the lights on. And you wake up in the morning, and it'd be like, everything would be clean, tidy, neat, not a drop. Like, and it would do it with my eyes closed, like, still half asleep. Fucking hell, I've never been able to do anything like that, you know. But it's like such a weird skill, being able to, it's like, you know, you, like in Full Metal Jacket, when they're like putting the guns together, blindfolded and stuff like that, you know. It's kind of like that, but with a shitty nappy, you know, so...
My mum used to tell us, like, we were, like, having trouble with them sleeping.
Yeah.
And my mum, like, because I had food allergies and I'd get little sicknesses growing up, and my mum's like, we just gave him Pamol. and she was like, I remember this one day, we were off on holiday, and Connor was in the cot next to us, and he was whinging in the middle of the night, and I think it was a birthday, so we'd all been drinking. And so I just grabbed the bottle of Pamol and opened it and just kind of poured it over his mouth and then put the lid back on. Yeah. And she was like, he stopped crying, so it was good. But it woke up in the morning, and there was Pamol all fucking around me, and all of the blanket had stuck to me.
Yeah. Oh, man, and that's the thing. I don't know. I mean, my mum was like, you know, old school Scottish housewife. So, like... Some of the things that I think her and my wife would maybe like grate up against each other. You know, my wife's American, so quite different, and just some of the ways, like the way that she would raise us, and my wife would be like, "We're not doing that." like, whatever. Like, I'm fine, kind of, you know. But no, I think it's a mad world. Like, if I. You know, if you want to get into an industry and make some cash, get into babies, man. Jesus,
for sure.
You know, like, you know, prenatal, antenatal classes, all that sort of shit. Like, you know.
And those things, they're honestly quite enjoyable to go to. Like, when Amanda first suggested, like, you know, antenatal classes and things like this to me, I was like, fuck, what a drainer.
Yeah.
But we get there, and I actually had a really good time. Yeah. And even the chick that was taking us through all the exercises, she was like, ladies, this is going to sound weird, but the husbands are always the best at this. Like, you give them a map and you get them to label all the body parts. It's always the guys that get everything right. Like, they just, because I guess we're less concerned about what's happening to our body, that we're just willing to absorb the information. Whereas women are... because it's physically happening to them, there's a bit of fear there, because there is risk.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and also, like, while they're sitting in that class, like all we're having to worry about is like, oh shit, we've got to watch this. Whereas they're like, this is going to happen to me.
Like, that is coming out of this.
No, but I mean, I don't know. It was weird. So my mum was a childminder when I was growing up. So like I grew up around kids. Like, you know, there was always babies around and stuff like that. Like I wouldn't say I was changing nappies when I was a teenager or anything like that, but there was always babies around. So I kind of I was kind of like, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then we went to our first antenatal class, and I was just like, oh, fuck, I am fucked here. Like, we're in so much trouble.
How
like,
deep is the water?
We need we need to, like, get a maid or something. Like a nanny to help us out. Like, but no, it was, I don't know, I found them, like, in New Zealand, like, everything's about breastfeeding, right? Breastfeed. And then we had a bit of trouble with breastfeeding right at the very beginning. So we got the lactation specialist to come in, which is like, again, the fact that I know that such a thing exists now, like that's something I would never have believed you. But like we got the lactation specialist to come in, and it was the same person who did our antenatal classes, just coincidentally. So we were like, oh wow, this is great. So she came in and was like, oh, you know, and if it doesn't work, it's fine, just use bottles. And we were like, well, we just gave you like $500 to tell us that we had to, like, it was you that got us into this fucking mess. like we've been trying to do this breastfeeding thing. We're stressed out about it because it's not going to work. We're like, we're not going to be able to feed our baby. Like, what's going to happen? And she came in and was like, oh, it's fine. But it's just a Kiwi way though, isn't it? Like, she'll be right. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks for that. Like, whip you into a frenzy and then, but yeah, no, it's an interesting thing, but don't know if we'll do it again.
Mate, I'm on the train. I said to Amanda, like, I think we're having the conversation 2 weeks ago. I was like, you know, I want like 4 or 5.
Fuck that.
Like, no, bro. I firmly believe that having like 4 or 5 is easier than having 1 or 2. 100%. When you got 1 or 2, it is your job to entertain them. Yeah. It's your job to keep them safe. It's your job to do shit with them. When you got 4 or 5, like. when there's 4 or 5 and they're all staggered ages, the older ones enjoy looking after the. Like, I look at my brother and sister-in-law. Yeah. They've got a 12-year-old, an 8-year-old, and they've just had a newborn.
Whoa!
And the older kids want to help.
Yeah.
They want to cuddle it and help give it a bottle.
Yeah.
They want to help with the nappies. They want to help with the bath. They want to be involved. They want to do shit. And speaking to other people that have like multiple kids, they find that the older kids always help the younger kids.
Yeah.
And so it actually almost lightens the load. I mean, like, it doesn't lighten the load of them coming out. Yeah. There are things that are more difficult, you know, maybe it's hard fitting them all in the car. It's hard to do all of the school sports and swimming lessons and everything afterwards. Like, there are challenges for sure. Yeah. But as a group, they kind of form their own gang where they all look out for each other. Yeah. They're all at school together at roughly the same times. You know, big sister's going to look out for little bro and things like this. Like, I firmly believe that. I think it's amazing.
You have a chat to my sisters and see. Okay. So, yeah, I'm the youngest. So my sisters are 10 and 6 years older than me. So
how many siblings?
Just 2. Yeah. So two older sisters. I'm the only boy, apart from my son and my cousin's son. I'm the only boy in the whole family. So actually, that's 2. Two of my cousins have got sons, should I say? But I was the youngest and the only boy. Got there's my 2 sisters and 4 cousins, all girls, and the oldest one is 14 years older than me, 15 years older than me. So I was always the baby. You know?
Very different age.
Yeah, definitely, and very different like times in the world as well. You know, growing up in a very different world than they were as well. Yeah. So but yeah, my sister who I work with, she's the closest. Yeah, she's the closest one to my age. She's 6 years older than me. So I'll take your word for that, bro. Like, I'll let you be the do the work and figure that one out. But
I'll come back to you in 20 years, bro. It wasn't that easy. I was wrong. I'll admit it. I was wrong.
I don't know. We kind of bounce back and forth deciding whether or not we're going to have another one. Sometimes we're both like. Well, actually, I don't think we've ever both been which is probably why we haven't. But I think we're getting older, so we'll maybe have to make a decision relatively soon if we're going to do. I mean, it's 2025, isn't it? Like, people are having kids when they're a bit older now than they used to. But But yeah, I don't know. It took me this long to get to the point where, like, you know, I'm married and I own a house and I have a kid and stuff. So don't want to ruin it now by having another one and being too much, you know. No, I take it. Having children doesn't ruin your life.
No. All of the time.
It doesn't at all. It doesn't at all. No, it's been great. And, like, you know, everything that you've done up until this point, like, everything shapes you, right? But and it prepares you in different ways. And, you know, whether I was ready to have a kid when I did, it doesn't matter.
I don't think the universe would give you a
like,
child if you weren't ready.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it's also like, it's such a change to no matter what you do. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's easy for us to say, but I'm sure if you're like a billionaire and you don't have to work, or you're married to a billionaire and you don't have to work and you can stay home and all that sort of stuff and you can pay people, there's still a mental thing, there's still a physical thing. So, you know, whatever, it'll be different. But I don't think you're ever like fully ready, but it's about how you react, I guess. Which, you know, taking it back to the hospitality industry, it's kind of the same, right? You can prepare for an event, you can prepare for, you know, field days. We've got all this whiskey and all this stuff, and then the doors open and you're like, well, holy shit, it's pissing down with rain. There's like 700 people standing.
Yeah, and none of the tools are working.
and we've only got 2 FPOS machines. You know, like all that sort of stuff. You know, so
you've just have you seen Clarkson's Farm?
No, I don't. Don't enjoy that, man. So
you don't?
No.
Honestly, I can assume you're probably not going to watch it. So I'm more than happy to ruin it for you.
Yeah, do it.
In the 4th season that's just come out, like Amanda and I just finished watching it a couple of days ago. He essentially, long story short, he had a farm that had a farm shop, and he had a big lambing shed that he wanted to turn into like a restaurant pub type thing. Yeah. The council wouldn't let him. There was this back and forth. So he thought, fuck it, I'm going to get outside of the council district and I'm just going to buy a pub and renovate it. And the whole idea is like British produce.
Yeah.
Raised on farms from his farm and other farms around that are having trouble selling and shit like this. Anyway, it's all just like grown in the UK.
Yeah.
Genuine food, beer made from barley that they're growing on their own land. It's all, you know, pastas made from their own wheat, breads made from their own flour, like everything, right? And the whole 4th season is pretty much about him opening this pub. Yeah. And he makes it look exactly like what opening a pub is like.
Yeah, that's good.
There's honestly, man, there is no bullshit. And Amanda and I were watching it, and we were just like, "Fuck." We legitimately know how that feels. Like beer tap's not working day of opening. The power flickers on and off. It pisses down on the opening day, and there's leaks in the roof. They ran out of food. Like everything that possibly could have gone wrong went fucking wrong, and it was just so genuine. He's sitting in his office talking to his business advisor, and the lights are turning on and off because there's a fault in the electric system, and the roof fucking leaking. Like,
amazing. No, it's like when Corova opened, there was no tills, so there was just a till drawer and a calculator and a notepad, an A4 notepad, and like we're just like standing there like, fuck, if you know the tax authority saw us right now, like we would be so fucked. Like, but you just gotta deal with it, right? You know,
exactly.
Just get going. Like I think that's a good thing. You know, an example at the hotel the other day, like you know, this is a first world problem if ever there was one, but the orange juicer in the executive lounge had you know, a problem that we all have had broken down, and like everyone was just like standing staring at it basically. But it's like but these guys are all like, and look, our staff are great. This isn't a criticism, well, it maybe is a criticism, but it's not like a it's not a
critique.
It's a critique. It's not a vindictive criticism, but like they all come from the hotel world where it's like, okay, we'll call maintenance and you know, or whatever. But like coming from bars, and especially independent bars, you know, like where there isn't a big company, you've just got like, you know, Danny's in here cleaning the bathrooms, like it's the same thing, right? So it's just like you just got to get involved and fix it, right? Or find a solution, right? Okay, is this going to work? What happened? Okay, so it turns out we figured it out. Somebody put it together wrong. It bent this bit of metal. Couldn't do it. And I was looking at them, the two supervisors, and bear in mind, I'm not F&B, like, and they were like, what do we do? And I'm like, well, this is a bit of metal and it's bent, so how do we bend it back? And they're like, well, I'm going to take it up to maintenance. I'm going to hit it with a hammer and see if that works. And they're like, yeah. So I went up, hit it with a hammer, got it working. And it's like, well, it worked. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's going to work, and it does the thing. So okay, and it's my job to then I'll go and find a replacement part and we'll fix it. It's like, yeah. So I think working in a bar teaches you these things, but opening a bar, man, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Like, just stuff, work pouring through the roof. Like when we opened Hideaway, basically we had this long drawn out. Ben had this long drawn out process about getting the deal done to buy the venue and stuff. We finally get it. We're like, sweet, let's. We've got the keys, we're going in, let's start planning, we're going to build the kitchen and all this sort of stuff. We walk in there and there's water everywhere. We're just like, we were in here like a day ago and it was fine. And there's just water pissing through the ceiling, and we're like, well, fuck. So that set us back a few days and stuff. So you just got to just deal with it, right? And man, a bar just teaches you, it's life, isn't it? It just teaches you everything you need to know. Opening, I think I actually prefer that part now that I'm a bit older and I've done it a few times now. I actually prefer opening the venues than actually running them. So maybe that should be my job, if I just open bars and then fuck off to the next one and somebody else can run it for me. So win the lottery and just open bars everywhere. Yeah.
That'll be fun. I'm a big believer of people talk about the enjoying the journey, not the destination, all that sort of shit. I don't quite get on board with all of the of it.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But when I think about the trials and tribulations of life and business that we've gone through so far, and we're not quite at that success point yet, but in 10, 15, 20 years, we will have reached that success point. I'm a firm believer that the best part about being successful is getting to talk about all the shit that went wrong over the last 30 years and have a laugh about it and be like, oh man, remember when we did that all-nighter and we were sleeping on the couches in the bar because we were painting the walls and fucking old mate fell off the ladder and that was crack.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the best part about being successful, is talking about all the shit that went wrong when you weren't.
I'd say, so I've worked for two guys called Ben in Aberdeen, who owned Orchid. He once said something that was kind of throwaway, and it probably, it was really profound, but it's maybe more profound in the moment than it is when you say it out loud. But he was like, when we were talking about the refurb of Orchid and how much money we were spending, and we were talking about all these things, but buying rotovaps and all that sort of stuff, and we were like, fuck, what if this doesn't quite go the way we want it to go, blah blah blah. And he was like, yeah, but what if it does? We're like, well, yeah, but it's but are we prepared to succeed? And we were like, what? And he's like, you've got to prepare to succeed as much as you've got to prepare to fail. If you prepare to fail, you fail to prepare, all that sort of bullshit. But he's like, but also people get to the top and then fuck it, and because they weren't prepared, they weren't ready to succeed. But I think when you're going through all these little trials and stuff, you're the guys will tell you, Ben Taylor from Revelry will tell you, he was waking up in the middle of the night dry retching because he saw that they only took $1,000 one night, and they were like, shit, what are we going to do? What they 15 years, 14 years in now, and they're stowed out every week. But he's that stress drove him to get ready to get himself in a position to succeed and how to succeed. But yeah, I'm also the same. I don't know, the journey is better looking back on it, right?
Yeah.
And I've had my
everything looks better in hindsight.
Yeah, exactly. But I've had my fair share of, or maybe not my fair share, but I've had my share of failures and successes and stuff. And I think I look back on them all like Kurova is probably the best example of it. Just you look back, as I'm joking at the beginning, we're going to write a book, but some of the stuff you're just this is mental. Without going too deep into it, because there's I'm sure the NDA is probably expired by now, but there was a point in time where the two owners were fighting, and I had to give my phone to the police.
Yeah.
So that they could look at messages and stuff. It's just this is insane. Like, just sitting in the reception of a police station, just like, fuck, what am I doing here? Like, this is wild. And at the time, it was
I was
awful.
just here to pour pints.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this was meant to be like, this was just meant to be a laugh. Like, listen to music that I like and working with some people that I like. But it turned into this big whole thing. And it's like, just sitting there like, this is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck am I doing? But now, looking back at it, it's like, remember that's hilarious, that time that, there was a warrant out for my phone. like, it's just crazy, like, so, anyway, but no, I'm with you on that, like, the lessons that you take and all that, people do get a bit wishy-washy with it, right, and maybe look into stuff more than they do, but I think it's, I don't know, I like the hard part.
Yeah.
Once you get to the success and, you just have to open your doors and, like, when I worked at the Occidental, it was the easiest job I ever had. It was, like, the busiest, probably, excuse me, sorry, probably one of the busiest venues I've ever worked in. It was insane. During the summertime, there's a cruise ship in, mental, pots of mussels, everyone loves mussels, especially in the city centre. But we just had to open the doors. Like, we didn't have to do a single thing. Like, we didn't have to advertise, we didn't have to figure out events, all that. We just opened the doors and it was gone. And that doesn't happen. Like, that is not how it goes, Yeah. So then you go next door to, when I went next door to Carol's back in the day, even though it was like so well established, such a, massive regular crowd and all that sort of stuff, like, we still had to, like, hustle a little bit, we still had to put on, like, live music, and we had to compete with, we had the Vulcan across the road, we had all those high street bars that don't exist anymore, we had all them to compete against, whereas the Oxy was just its own thing, So, but I don't know, it's like I say, the journey probably is my favorite part of it, but only once you've hit the destination.
Yeah.
Once you get to the destination,
you got to get to the destination to be able to reflect on the journey.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
enjoy it.
exactly. And I don't think you can do that. Like, I don't think you can do that comfortably until you've like got there, one way or the other. If the destination is like, oh shit, we fucked it up. You can look back with time, and you can look back and go, okay, maybe that wasn't the right decision. Yeah. Like the Vaults, the nightclub that I worked, like, now I'm just like, that was ridiculous, We spent $25,000 on Carl Cox and 200 people turned up. Like, this was not a good decision. But it's funny now, but it was bloody stressful on the day when Carl Cox is like a 6'6" giant of a man is standing there going like, where is everyone? Like,
You're like, I don't know, bro. You're the one bringing them in.
So you were about to bring them in, yeah. Well, we had, I don't know if you know who Tim Westwood is. He's a DJ.
Yeah.
Quite a,
over in
become
the UK.
A little bit of a UK
He
garage.
did like a Pimp My Ride UK version.
And he became like a little bit of a cartoon and stuff. But like, he was actually, we had him at Corova. We had him there, and it was during like Freshers Week. It was the Tuesday night of Freshers Week, and do you do Freshers Week over here? No,
we call it O Week.
O Week, yeah, that's it. So Freshers Week, Tuesday night, which is notoriously like the one quiet night. So we had Tim Westwood thinking, yeah, we've got it, and you know what? He actually was sound as like, and like, I think he is pretty real. Like, that is how he is. But he was awesome with us. But 0 people turned up. It was like not a single person came in the door. Like, it was a disaster. But like, and it was like crisis meeting, like the owners, like all the management team. We were just we had a promoter at the time, and we were all just like sitting in the office, like, fuck, and you look back on these things, and you're like, yeah, okay. Any other night of the week, we can just open the doors. It was a lesson for us at Corova because we were quite niche with the rock thing going, and we did a lot of other nights as well, but the club mainly was like a rock club, but we had to fill up the other nights of the week as well, so we're trying all these things, and that was the lesson there was like, okay, the easy route for us is like, let's get Tim Westwood, everyone knows him, he's on Radio 1, and we'll just open the doors and people will come. Okay, it doesn't work like that, you know. And then from that point on, every time we did something, it was like, okay, we need to do the work here.
Yeah, proper preparation prevents a piss poor performance.
Okay, I'll do, get that tattooed on you. But no. So and it taught us these things that you learn. And the next time we did an event, we did whoever it was, chock-a-block. It was a great night. It was Tuesday night, which was like our one notoriously quiet night, and we finally managed to crack it, you know. So you learn from everything, so the successes and the failures. Yeah.
For sure. I think we're coming to the end of our time. We're about an hour and a half in.
That works.
But we always finish on a breadcrumb mojito moment.
Yeah.
And
I've got a few.
You've already given us a couple.
Yeah. Well,
what's your number one?
I'll caveat this a little way. Like, so when we spoke about this, you know, in prep for this chat, I did start going through like all the crazy shit, but then all the mistakes that I made, like at the Oxade, dropping a full glass of Stella into somebody's shopping bag, like with their wool coat that they just bought, like all that sort of stuff. But I think my breadcrumb mojito moment is slightly different to that. It was at Dusk, which was my first cocktail bar. I'd finally cracked it. I started to understand what, like, I wanted to work in the cocktail world, and then I got that like thing that every cocktail bartender gets. They get really snobby, like, you know, they only want to drink, like, you know, they only want you know, the aged spirits, and they want to know everything in this classic cocktail, blah blah blah. We were having this night. It was a I think about it all the time, actually, and this is why it came to me so quickly when we spoke. So it's not necessarily something that went wrong, but it was something that happened in my brain. Dusk is a big long bar that's split into three. In the middle is where you start. You start in the middle, because it's the quietest part. It's like up some steps and it's a bit low, and you've got the cocktail waitress there. So when you're new, you go there, or if it's a crazy busy night and you're a bit more experienced, you go there by yourself, and then you have 2 or 3 bartenders in the other 2 bars. So I was on there myself, maybe my second or third time by myself. I was really feeling it. I was like learning everything about cocktails. I was the guy. Like, this is it. This is amazing. You want to know about, you know, the 1951 recipe for a vieux carré or whatever? Like, I'll tell you about it. These 3 guys come up to the bar. The bar's bouncing. It's such a good atmosphere, such a good night. Everyone's having a good time. These 4 guys come up to the bar. They're like, you can just tell they're having the greatest night of their life. Like, they're high-fiving people, and we're like, I'm like, hey guys, how's it going? Oh yeah, having an amazing night. 4 guys, we haven't seen each other for a long time. We're going to bars that we don't normally go to, so we come up this end of town, all these cocktail bars. I'm like, oh, brilliant. Basically, giving me the information that they're not cocktail guys. They don't know what they wanted, but they're just having a good time. And I'm like, yeah, bouncing. And what can I get you guys? And like, can we just have like 4 Long Island iced teas? And in my head, I was like, you fucking arseholes. Like, are you serious? Long Island iced teas? And I was just like, yeah, guy, yeah, whatever. And I turned around, and there was a mirror behind the bar. And I glanced up and I saw them, and one of the guy who'd ordered the drinks, was talking to the couple there, and they were telling them about their drinks. The other 3 guys are like laughing away. And in that moment, I was like, oh, I'm the dickhead here, not them. Like, all they wanted to do is have a good night. I'm the one.
You're the one judging.
I'm the one judging. I'm the one that's like now having a bad time.
Yeah.
But why? Like, what the fuck has my opinion got to do with anything? Like, and from that point on, like, in everything, in my whole life, everything changed from that moment. And I think about it all the time. It's such a silly little moment, but like, it was so impactful to my entire outlook. And every piece of success, every bar that I've ran, every cocktail competition that I've entered, won, lost, succeeded, failed, everything comes from that moment. I was just like, shit. And I just got it. Like, all of a sudden I understood.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the least important person in this place. So why am I the one that's trying to impact everyone and have a bad time? So I think that's my breadcrumb.
That's great.
Moment,
that is a great introspective, insightful little moment.
We've also had loads of things where, like, I've dropped the till down some flight of stairs and all that sort of stuff.
And all the fucking coins.
With £7,000, sorry, dropped it down, all the coins and notes and everything are flying, and there's still customers in the venue and stuff. But that was the moment. I think that's the moment that, like, where I realised, like, nothing went wrong. I was just thinking wrong, and from that point on, and Lovey, who owned Dusk, we had the conversation about it before. Like, he was like, I could tell in you something had changed, because like, all of a sudden your attitude was just completely different, you know. So cocktails became like, yeah, okay, you want a Long Island iced tea, I'll make you the best Long Island iced tea you've ever had. If you want a a beer, you can have a beer. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Give the people what they want and let them have a good time.
True that, and I think that perfectly embodies the hospitality spirit.
Yeah.
People are there to enjoy themselves. Give them what they want so they can fucking enjoy it.
Yeah, and I'm all for high concepts and, I'm somewhere in between. You need to teach people what they want and give the people what they want. But it's all about time and place, right?
Yeah.
So if DJs are playing and people want an espresso martini, just make a fucking espresso martini. It's fine.
Get over yourself.
Just deal with it, But it's like, what is it? Like, grow up, and you've got to be an adult to work here, so act like one. But then, you have places like this. You've got places like Truth or Dare and all these where sit and talk to the guest and tell them what they want figure out what they want, suggest things, get it right, Whereas, but if people want Long Island iced tea, just make them a Long Island iced tea. It's fine. It's still a cocktail.
Yeah.
Cup of tea is a cocktail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
That was a really, really good, insightful breadcrumb.
Well,
probably one of my favorites.
I'm glad. Yeah, thanks. Like I say, it just, as soon as you asked me, I was like, that's what I'm going to talk about, because that's I still think about it sometimes. Like, I can't sleep at night and I can remember the moment. I can if I'm ever back in Aberdeen and ever see that guy again, I think I'd probably stop him in the street and tell him, because like,
would you like me to buy you a iced tea?
I want to buy you a Long Island iced tea, mate, because like, you probably don't remember this at all, but you changed my. I can see the guy in my, like, clean as day. I can see the couple. I can see the drinks that they had on the table. I can see the whole thing. And it's just a moment. Everything changed. I've been working in the industry at that point 12 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Thought I knew everything, and then I was like, no, wait a minute. I've had my eyes closed this whole time. Like, I finally figured it out. So, so that's it.
That's fucking awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that one, bro. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, always a pleasure, never a chore.
Absolutely.
Just been a good chat. To be fair, I've kind of been able to sit back and just let you run with it.
Short corner. Gav Liddle talks too much. Stop the press. Anyway, there you go. No, it's good.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ray. Thank you very much, everyone else. We'll catch you later.
Yeah.
Love it, bro. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, look at that. We're bang on an hour and a half as well.
That's it for this week's episode of the Breadcrumb Mojito Podcast. Follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram and TikTok at the Breadcrumb Mojito Podcast, and look out for next week's episode.